The Edgeless Horseman here. It's November the 13th, 2024. I just wanted to make a short video. First of all, thanks to the sponsors. I've been discussing on WhatsApp with a fellow junior investor about crypto. Well, basically providing him copium because he's very, let's say, low on morale when it comes to juniors after the last 2 weeks sell off in some, in many actually. And we've just been discussing, it's like his belief is that crypto will forever steal the show. It's like miners are never coming back, and I've said this before. I mean, I even saw someone tweet that the mining sector is obsolete, even though it's the mining sector has never produced more metals simply to keep the world economy running. So it's peak, not obsolete, rather peak needed. We never needed more metals than we're doing today. And my point is, well, we were debating back and forth, and he's like, crypto's never going away, yada yada. And I just asked him, well, okay, what I was gonna say, what thing in the history of finance has been had a value, it's like has been worthless and been around forever, let's say. I can't come up with a single thing. And then his rebuttal was, well, somebody just, one day somebody found a rock. I mean, he was kind of alluding to gold. That's what how I took it. And something is worth whatever people think it's worth. And I mean, that's true. That's true, and that's true with gold. So it's like he has a point there. The thing is that gold is pretty much the only thing over 5,000 years that actually did that. Anything else that people just found that didn't have any like practical usage, let's say, has gone to zero, because gold is gold. Gold is the only thing. Well, I hope you get what I mean. Yes, people traded with seashells for a while, and there's been hundreds or thousands of different versions of paper money, etc. But it's like, was it Voltaire who said, at the end of the day, all fiat reverts to its intrinsic value, which is zero. And that, of course, is true for pretty much every crypto out of the 20,000 ones that are out there. So it's like the idea that this crypto hype mania is going to be around forever. I mean, there is nothing in history of finance that backs that up. The almost only thing that has little, let's say, practical usage and is still around is gold. That's the only example that I can come up with. And, I mean, silver. It was like copper and every other metal and all that, and obviously the Beanie Babies were hot for a while, even the tulip mania was hot for a while, yada yada yada. So yes, in a sense that's true. It's what people are willing to pay for something that sets its price, at least. But again, except for like the monetary metals, I don't know a single thing that has survived through world history that actually was, and it's not even, gold is not even worthless, especially not silver either. But except for gold, I don't know one single thing over 5,000 years, like hundreds and thousands of empires and kingdoms and civilizations. Only one thing. So it's like that, the very idea that crypto is going to be around forever in its current form is like, to me, that's absolutely ludicrous, because there is nothing in world history of finance that backs that up. Will crypto be around? Of course, I mean, it's code. Of course it will be around. Bitcoin, I'm assuming, will never disappear in that sense. But it's like, to believe that crypto, 20,000 cryptos, etc., will be relevant forever, it's just absolutely absurd. I mean, literally absurd. And then one can go into, I mean, I'm not an expert on crypto, Um, I really am not. It's just, I mean, again, it's common sense. Common sense. I don't think it's like, to me, it's bullshit when I read people who are like, oh, you don't understand crypto because this or that or this technology or whatever, this protocol is like, that's missing the point. I'm not. I'm just arguing from a common sense standpoint. It's like who's actually buying crypto now, even thinking about the quote technology. It's like 10,000 cryptos went up because they all had whatever the right technology or some feature. No, I don't think so. I mean, just look at Twitter. Everyone's buying crypto because they think it's gonna go up. That's it. That's it. They are most of them are at the end of the day pure trading sardines. So that I guess gives some value. But the interesting thing is, like I put up here, it's like I hadn't really looked at it. But well, first of all, let's point to one thing. It's like I think people are stuck in the past when it comes to crypto. It's like I was discussing with this fellow today that he's like, I wish I'd been in crypto. We would have been rich, whatever. I mean, think about it. When would you? Yes, if you were in crypto, it's like 2016, for example. You would have actually made a good amount of money if you bought the bottom in 2019 here, and here was actually even a good return, 445% in what's that like? Let's say 3 years or 2 years. Uh, yes, that's obviously a great return. That's what juniors can do in a typical cycle bottom from top, and we're not talking a bull market, but a bull cycle. My point is that I think a lot of people in the crypto space live in the past. They still think that the returns that came from very very early on, like the when the founders, for example, or it's like I was mining Bitcoin in, I don't know, 2015, 16, I think, on a shitty laptop. I have no idea what the password is. I don't think, I mean, given how shitty the computer was, I don't think I even mined a lot of Bitcoin, and that I don't even know where that computer is. But I don't expect to be sitting on billions of dollars in Bitcoin that I mined on some laptop. Anyway, because when you think about it, it's like, okay, Bitcoin is up here now. It's like, okay, how much higher is it from the it's like the top 3 years ago? 28%, okay? 37, 350. I mean that's relatively impressive, but it's still 7 years. That's not what people are in it for. And yes, you can look at the bottom, etc. It's like how many actually invest in the bottom. But if you think of it from even the early birds, let's say, I mean, so far, they're, even if they hodled the entire way, and I have a friend who's hodled since this time, but it's like his Bitcoin portfolio value so far hasn't changed. I mean, it peaked here first, and that is in 2017. Then it went a bit higher. I mean, it almost tripled. But if we take from this point here, it's like, I mean, how much has really changed since 2021? Now it's 37% higher. So I mean, if my point is, like, you can see this kind of decrease in here. It's like absolutely absurd returns from bottom to top. 1/3 of that, and from this bottom to top, to top, 25% of this. And of course it can go higher and all that. My point is that it's like, it's not going up as it once did. It's not as cheap when nobody knew about it back here. I mean, to me, in my opinion, first of all, I think this is gonna I think Bitcoin is a fad. I think it's gonna pretty much be worthless one day. Maybe it takes this system to crash, because Bitcoin has only lived in the same monetary system. I mean, since it started out, it's not seen a monetary reset or anything like that. It hasn't seen the collapse of a reserve currency or anything like that. So we have no idea how even Bitcoin performs in any kind of massive change in environment. To me, Bitcoin is just a symptom of the very same bubble, and people see it as a cure. Again, I think it's the symptom of the bubble, the fiat bubble, not the cure to the fiat bubble. So I think it's going up because we are in a bubble, not in despite it, or it's like I don't think it's working against the bubble. I think it's a symptom of the risk on bubble, more speculative money than ever before. 40 years of lower interest rates, basically. I mean, if Bitcoin was the only thing that's working, yes, one can make the argument that maybe Bitcoin is more unique. But look at how many cryptos have been lit on fire when Bitcoin was lit on fire, and all of those are not seen as like potential reserve currencies. And my point is, I think the best days of crypto is behind. I don't think people are willing to accept it. I don't think people are. I think they're latching on to, again, the legendary returns that got created from people being in from this time period. And some in the lows here, for example. But I think, yes, the best days are behind, and I think people project it forward. Kind of like people sell the lows in whatever sector, like the junior sector. They project the, let's say, last 4-year bear market, and they just project that in eternity. They think it's never going to change. So that's why they obviously sell low. That's why everyone sells low. It's because they don't think it's going to change. But in my opinion, my belief is that people are in Bitcoin because they're expecting these legendary, 20,000% returns, etc. Because everybody's heard people that have gotten rich of crypto, yada yada. And that's what people want to do. I mean, get rich very quickly. And if you compare to investing, for example, in investing, you actually, let's say an expert in investing. It's like, okay, take a Warren Buffett or whatever. It's like, okay, they have to have a very good understanding of a business model, its longevity, what they think the trends are, what's the moat in that business. Or otherwise, if you're a more, let's say, regular expert, you need to, it's like, how do you read a balance sheet? What are the risks here? Yada, yada, yada. And 1 in 20 of active stock investors beat an index. So basically 5% beat a given index. 5%, 1 in 20, I remember reading. 1 in 20 beats an index. So 95% of people make bad decisions. Maybe, not enough due diligence, that they don't have the, I don't know. I mean, take junior mining, for example. It's like, if you're an explorer, you have to have a sense of like, okay, what is the geology? Am I missing something? What are the management team? How's the access to capital? Is there anything I'm missing? There's like 100 different things that can go wrong, and you can be missing, and especially the worse the management team is, whatever. I mean, you might have a management team that are like literal crooks. Not that they go out there and explore and fail, but rather it's like, no, they actually stole money from the company, whatever, and then the company goes bankrupt. And there's incompetence, and there's just shit going wrong because it's a high risk sector. There's so many things to think about. So many things that needs to go not wrong for people to have, let's say, over the longer term, a very good return, let's say. So it's like, that's why I think crypto is so appealing to 95% of people. Because, let's face it, who is a crypto expert? How much can you be wrong on? I mean, if you know nothing about the oil and gas sector, and you start to invest, and you're, let's say, competing against somebody who's been investing in the oil and gas sector, knows everything about oil and gas, do you expect to beat that person if you have no idea what you want to see in a drill well? What is, whatever, good recoveries? Like, or are you even in the correct type of geological environment where oil and gas can be formed, or are you investing in a company that says they have oil, but it's in a place where everybody knows that the chance of finding oil is almost zero? It's like that would be a stark difference in performance. But in crypto, since there's no real fundamentals, there's no underlying revenue stream, there's no profits, there's no business at all underlying it. So you can't be that much wrong compared to someone that is, quote, a crypto expert, because they do the same thing. They guess. Yes, you've seen some logarithmic models, and it's like based on the cost of mining, Bitcoin should follow whatever. That's about as close as you can get. And then you have people saying, well, Bitcoin could make up all the world's assets, basically. So yes, it should be, the upside is $200 trillion. You know, that's the quote, the experts. The only numbers they can find is like, yeah, why not? My point is that the thankful thing about crypto is that nobody has any idea what any of this shit is worth. So you can't be that much in the wrong compared to somebody, anyone else. But in investing, there's a stark difference if you go up to someone that's an expert investor, and especially if you go into a specific sector and you have no idea. Let's say you go into junior mining. You don't know anything about geology, nothing about mining, nothing about what soil samples mean, can't even read assay results. How on earth are you supposed to make an educated decision? It's pretty much impossible. But again, in crypto, nobody has that big of an edge, because pretty much every single one is a trading sardine. People are just guessing if they're gonna go up or down. The next big move is up or down. And you have total idiots, of course, that have made obscene amounts in cryptos. And it's like, I remember, I think it was maybe 2017, or if it was 2021, I don't remember exactly, but it was during the ICO boom, initial coin offering. I remember talking to one guy. He was in crypto. I was still not in crypto. Well, I've never been in crypto, but he was in crypto, and him and his friends were in a bunch of ICOs. That's when crypto, yeah, I think it was probably 2008, 17, 18. Everybody was hyped on crypto. It was kind of new still, and they just put in a bunch of money in a bunch of different initial coin offerings, like IPOs for cryptos. And I remember it's like him telling me, it's like, you can't lose. Anything they put money in, they were up. As soon as the coin started trading, they were up hundreds of percent. And he had friends who I think made millions of dollars or something, or a very short time frame. And he's like, he wasn't interested at the time buying juniors, because they were literally printing money in crypto just like that. Any initial coin offering, boom, put in money, coin went up 500% in a day from listing. Why on earth would you again care about investing? It's like the market average is 9% per year over a very long time period. But in the crypto space, at some points in time, you can make hundreds of percent just like that in days, weeks, or months. And when the ICO boom was raging, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of raging right now, people are making hundreds of percent in a day on these initial coin offerings. The flip side was that, I don't remember exactly when, but the crypto winter came, and then I talked to the same guy, and he said most of his friends, and these were guys who had made millions of dollars, almost every one of them had lost everything. Because obviously they kept pushing the envelope. I mean, if you start off with whatever, $10,000, and you make a friggin' $1 million or something in short order, every ICO you went into, boom, up 500%, go into a new one, up 500%, into a new one, up 500%. So obviously you start to again project that this exponential curve will just keep going, and you want to bet more and more, because you're thinking that, hey, at this rate I could become a billionaire. The thing is, one day it topped, one day the music stopped. So I'm assuming they just kept betting bigger and bigger amounts the more they made into new initial coin offerings. And when the music stopped, those ICOs didn't go up because they were, of course, worthless as well. But they didn't go up 500% in as soon as they started trading. They probably went down 90% or 99%. Many of them are probably down 99% right now, the ones who were created a long time ago. That's the point. Madness can go on for some time, but eventually gravity sets in, and that's why there is only one gold, one quote worthless pet rock that still has same value today as it did 5,000 years ago or 3,000 years ago. But that's the only example. So betting that all the cryptos out there is akin to gold is just absolute lunacy. There's only one example, and there's been plenty of different, there's been, again, thousands of different currencies, etc. They're supposed to hold value, yada yada yada. But none do, except gold and silver. Anyway, so yes, to wrap up, I think the best parts are behind crypto. I'm not saying that crypto is gonna go away per se. I'm saying that this kind of these kind of shenanigans with ICOs, and you have 20, 30, 40,000 cryptos, etc. I don't think that's going to be around. Crypto and Bitcoin will never disappear because it's simply an algorithm. Will Bitcoin be? Will people be talking about Bitcoin as a reserve currency like 10 years from now, 20 years from now? I don't think so. But it will never 100% go away, of course. And there's always appetite for trading sardines, in a sense. It's just this kind of broad-scaled, massive casino Ponzi scheme speculation in so many cryptos that will not be around forever. It's like, at the end of the day, every asset returns to its intrinsic value, which is pretty much zero in real terms for 99.9% of cryptos. That's my strong opinion, at least, because again, we can't look at history and find anything that points to anything other than basically gold that's quote worthless but still has value today and has survived every monetary system, every civilization, every empire, yada yada yada, every catastrophe, every world war. But okay, back to my point. The interesting thing is that I notice it's like I'm not 100% sure it's correct, but I think it's correct. So I just pulled up all the cryptocurrencies here, and look at the volumes over the last 24 hours. $121 billion in volume for Bitcoin over just last 24 hours. Ethereum has a whopping $51.37 billion in volume, and the market cap of Ethereum is quote only 385. So that's like what, 13-14% of the entire market cap of Ethereum has changed hands in just the last 24 hours. I mean, that's like you have a 100 million market cap junior that's traded $14 million in volume in one trading day. That is obviously an obscene amount of turnover for any stock. There's like, okay, it's not exactly 10%, but it's like 8% or 7-8% of Bitcoin's total market cap that changed hands over the last 24 hours. And this is above 10%. And look at the changes over the last 24 hours. When Bitcoin churned this much volume, Bitcoin is up sub 1%. Ethereum is actually down. Imagine you see a junior stock that has an absolute enormous volume spikes. And here you can see Solana, that's over 10%. This is less than 10%. This is, holy Christ, Dogecoin is over 50% of the market cap that traded over the last 24 hours. That is absolutely obscene. That's like every other Dogecoin there is got sold and bought within 24 hours. And look at the change. So it's like many of the cryptos here, and it's like Tether is absolutely obscene. Almost twice the market cap in volume just in last 24 hours. That is just absolutely crazy. That's a stable coin though, so it's not expected to move. But it's like, imagine you see a bunch of junior or miners, whatever, out there. They go up, let's say, so they're on a run, and then one day you see 10% of the juniors' market caps gets traded, and up to even 50% in the case of Dogecoin. Imagine volumes like that, like insane, most insane you've ever seen. And the stocks over that same period, in that same day, are barely up, and even some are down. That would, I think people would read that as the biggest kind of distribution cash out event they've ever seen. And of course, I'm never trying to pick tops when it comes to manias. I never. That's in my opinion dumb. There's no big edge there, because we know, as we see now, stuff that is worthless can still reach $60 billion market caps like Dogecoin. But it's absolutely insane. It's noteworthy, I would say, that you have an enormous amount of money that is getting out of these cryptos and are happy to do it at the same price as yesterday, basically. So there's a shit ton of money that is leaving crypto, and not at higher levels, but here somebody is feeding enormous amounts of crypto into the buyers during this post-Trump mania. And look at this article. Bitcoin trading volume source. And I saw a tweet and I couldn't find the article, but I had to Google it. Bitcoin trading volume soars to record high, driven by retail demand. Demand is driven by retail. The volumes are volumes soar to record high. So this looks actually correct. That there is just insane volume lately. Absolutely insane volume. And again, driven by retail demand. So all of these cryptos that are changing hands in a hurry over the last 24 and I assume 48 hours. Apparently the buying is driven by retail, and somebody who's not retail is cashing out obscene amounts. 50% of Dogecoin has been sold. Excuse me. 14% of Ethereum. Like 8% of Bitcoin. Yeah, again, I'm not saying I'm trying to pick tops, but it's like, this is, even though I don't own crypto, I'm kind of getting scared, because this looks like potentially the blow off tops that the smart money, the big money is cashing in. And it's, as per usual, retail that has record demand when prices are, well, it's not actually all-time high in Dogecoin, but it's like, up here there's record demand from retail. Up here there might have been even more demand from retail. But that I would at least take as a warning sign that retail is piling in at record volumes in cryptos, and somebody is selling so much crypto that the prices are unchanged to down over the last 24 hours when said obscene volume is taking place. Think about that. That is pretty crazy. And I would also point out to my earlier notion that I think crypto, or let's say the legendary crypto gains, I think they've long passed. I think you should have been in crypto. I mean, the bottoms here. I mean, again, this is not like 60,000% a good return from the literal bottom tick. But I think the big returns were made by people who bought here, some who bought here, and then it's, gradually just the tops are just kind of getting, I mean, less impressive. It's like anybody that held from here again at in 2007, or excuse me, 2007, their market cap peaked here, or yeah, their holdings peaked. It took, let's say, 4 years for it to go up 241% more. I mean, obviously nothing compared to the kind of gains they would have gotten from these levels. And this new high here, now it's only up, now it's, quote, only up 29%. So it's like people have held Bitcoin, they held through the 2021 top. Whatever the position value was here, even with this mania, with this record volumes driven by retail, they're still only 29% higher in the last 3 years. Again, it's like the revaluation pace, one could argue, is tapering off big time. And on that point, you have stuff like Dogecoin, which has not even made a new all-time high, despite Musk out there talking about, Department of Government, yada yada, Doge, and again, despite the record high volumes, despite Dogecoin trading 50% of its entire market cap. So one could say half of all holders of Dogecoin cashed in just in the last 24 hours. And the buyers, undoubtedly, if we believe articles like this, is retail investors who, again, have absolutely no idea what they're doing and typically are forever famous for always selling low and buying high. The irony would be if there's actually, again, this might not be a top, I don't know, but it would be ironic if some of those retail were people who just sold juniors over the last 2 weeks to dirt cheap levels, and the best juniors, they actually have fundamentals. So you have high, margin of safety, high probable future returns, but they sold that to chase, let's say, Dogecoin or whatever. Because the guy I talked to recently, he's itching to sell juniors and buy, crypto, and I said I think that's what kind of people have done. So that's the thing. This is exactly how retail typically behaves. And I don't have a dog in this fight per se. I'm not short or long crypto. I think it's absolute lunacy. I think we're at peak stupidity when it comes to market and speculation. I think pretty much the entire crypto space is a Ponzi scheme that's only good as trading sardines. And again, that you can see by how people talk about it. There's nobody that even pretends to come up with some kind of motivated value. The only reason to buy Bitcoin is because it's going to go higher, because reason X, Y, and Z, and reasons X, Y, and Z changes all the time just to keep the narrative alive. I'm just saying that this, I had no idea. I thought first it can't be true, but it appears to be true, that you have these, not all of them, but some like Dogecoin and XRP and USDC and even Cardano. I mean, all of these have huge volumes, kinda. It's like, some close to 10% of their market caps and some way above 10%. And you see the changes. and you know who's actually piling in. So it's like, yeah, just think about that. That retail is flooding in right now, and half of all Dogecoin holders have sold their sold their Dogecoin just in the last 24 hours. 14 or whatever percent of all Ethereum holders sold, and 8% of all Bitcoin holders sold. And there's obviously a huge amount of holders of these that are happy to get out at plus minus zero from over the last 24 hours. So this is just an interesting take. I mean, I'm not really. It's frustrating to see in a sense, because again, you know that there's no real fundamentals at all underpinning this. This is a pure casino. If you're an investor, you actually have to do a lot of work, and that still doesn't guarantee success. Far from it. And if you have success, you would be happy to have, let's say, I don't know, a really good return is 20% per year. So these kind of swings are obviously absurd. It's even more absurd that you have like millionaires and billionaires created, especially when a lot of them are people who have no idea really how to invest. But it's a once in a generation type of bubble, and that happens. So one can't take it too personally, because the thing is, of course, that most people who get rich in crypto are one-trick ponies. And most people did not get rich in crypto. That you can believe. Most people did not buy Bitcoin here and have held it all the way to here. Most people bought in here, and are buying in now. So it's like no point in being too discouraged, because yes, there are many examples obviously of people who founded cryptos and whatever that made a shit ton of money. But it's like at the end of the day, most of them are one-trick ponies. It's like the people I know who are actually good at investing. Some of them own no crypto. Some own a bit or have already cashed out. Yada yada. Some that I know have no idea how to invest. Some own a lot of crypto. So it's kind of goes without saying. If you know how to invest, most of those people don't touch crypto. That's my personal experience, at least. It's like you don't see Buffett, for example. He doesn't need to dabble in crypto, and of course he's missed all of this this entire ride. But he knows how to invest, so he's gonna make money forever. The problem with it is if you're a one-trick pony, as soon as the music stops in crypto, and again I think it's already stopping, but many people don't want to believe it is stopping, because that's the only go-to thing they have. That crypto is the only thing that they can, let's say, bet on, because so they don't need to learn how to invest. Again, in this case, the positive thing for them is like you can't be too much more wrong than anyone else, because nobody has an idea what it's worth. So he's very thankful from that perspective. Yeah, so I would say it's like focus on the long term. It's like if you learn how to invest, you don't really need crypto. When crypto dies or this mania dies, I mean, again, crypto in one form or another is probably going to be around forever, but it's like these trillion-dollar valuations and stuff, I think that's going to disappear. But if you learned how to invest, it doesn't matter, because there's always going to be companies around. There's always going to be sectors around. There's always going to be a mining sector around, for example. If you are a one-trick pony who only, don't even try to invest, rather play the cryptomania, for example. Problem is that if we go into a permanent crypto winter, for example, you're shit out of luck. Then you have to start to learn investing, and that might take years before you're any good at it whatsoever. So I'm not personally worried about crypto, for example, because again, I focus on investing, which I can use forever. I don't think, again, I don't think you. I think I'm repeating myself all the time here, but again, I think the big gains in crypto already passed. And I mean, if you can have record high volumes, I don't know if it's record high volume in Dogecoin, but it's like if you have record high volumes in Dogecoin and it's unchanged, that's probably not a good sign. Because again, half the holders of Dogecoin apparently cashed out in just last 24 hours, and it's has quite some bit to go. I mean, it has to go up 100% just to retake this high here. I don't know exactly how it is for all the other ones. Ethereum, which is churning huge volumes. Yeah, I mean, that's not at all-time highs either. So it's like it's topped back in 2021. Let's look at a few other ones. Not a new all-time highs. Quite a relatively subdued rally. I mean, when it broke out, even with record high retail, now it's up 15%, 21. XRP. Yeah, far below all-time highs. Yeah, a long way from all-time highs set in 2018. So that's what I mean. I personally, this looks like, I mean, and yes, they're continuously coming up with new cryptos, but this looks like it's kind of, I mean, if you look at under the hood, it's like if you have these kind of volumes and there's some of the biggest cryptos that are not even close to their all-time highs when you have record demand from retail. I think these are, and I'm not a big trader or anything like that, but I mean, some stuff you pick up, I think these are enormous warning signs about yeah, basically a bubble that has already popped and is kind of dying. Because let's face it, I mean, everybody's going bananas about Bitcoin, but it's like it's up 41% from like the average here, whatever, 45%. I mean, that's not what people are in Bitcoin for. People are in Bitcoin to get rich. People are in Bitcoin because they think they can redo these legendary returns that some who actually bought and held since 2016, like closing in on 10 years ago, when this was unknown and all that, before it became a bubble. I mean, now it's well into a bubble, in my opinion, and I think they fooled themselves thinking that history is gonna repeat. Yeah, so basically that. I don't know. I'm not saying you shouldn't be in crypto. I'm saying if you're in crypto, I would advise that you at least know why you're in it. That's like, if you think that, and I've seen it's like on Twitter, pretty much every single life coach, finance coach, fitness coach, business coach, personal development coach is out there right now talking about crypto. You should buy crypto. That's how you get wealth. If I mean, the counter is like, this is how you get fit, successful with women and rich, and they're all out there basically advocating for people to buy crypto. I mean, I saw a account with 460,000 followers. I think they're called the Growth Hub. They retweeted a tweet made by someone which said, "Earn dollars, save in crypto." And again, to me, crypto is like on the other spectrum of gold, for example. I see crypto as the riskiest thing you could ever buy. And you have all these people who don't know how to invest, that again, because of course all the whatever, people are trying to make money selling stuff or grifters or whatever. I mean, they're trying to make money, and they're not good at investing. So that's why they turn to crypto. Like, I was gonna say why it attracts 95% of people, because they don't have any idea either how to actually invest, how to actually do proper investing with discipline, and look at fundamentals, and have some idea, come up with an idea what the intrinsic value could be of a company, for example, and then how that relates to price, yada yada. Because that's hard. That's hard, and very few can do it. 1 in 20 can do it. So they are also naturally attracted to Ponzi schemes and stuff, where it's like almost according to some people like a free lunch. Don't worry about it. Bitcoin is just gonna go up forever because everybody I read that is in Bitcoin says it's gonna go up forever. But it's like, if they knew how to invest, I don't think they would be touching Bitcoin. Like actual investing, you can speculate. That's a totally different thing. But when you see people say save in Bitcoin, that is the most crazy thing ever. And again, that makes perfect sense because they have no idea what they're doing. So they think that, okay, I mean, before crypto, where would you go if you? The only option was kind of a casino. And the other most volatile sectors were like junior miners, maybe, and I don't know, biotech. That was the closest thing you could come to gambling with, large amounts of money without actually going to a casino and put down everything on black on a roulette table, for example. But that's when people know at the same time they're gambling. Here they buy into a narrative. There's not going to be a narrative at the roulette table. It's like, hey guys, it's always going to come on black, so bet as much as you want. In crypto, and especially Bitcoin, it's like, it's gonna go up forever, so bet as much as you like. So again, it makes sense. It's the closest thing you can come to casino, not needing to actually think too much. And the narrative is that it's a rigged casino that can only go up. How many does that speak to? 95% of people. And that's also why, it's. I think it's quite safe to say, I'm 99% sure, let's say, that this is all gonna end in tears. And I think, yeah, I'm repeating myself again, but personally, I think it has already kind of ended, and most people are in now. Again, they live in the past. Same why people sell low. They live in the past. Oh, this sector has been shit, so it's always gonna be shit because look at the past. And then and even you have the same obviously thing in like Bitcoin here. It's like, oh, it has sucked. Why would I buy Bitcoin? Boom, up, and now of course everyone's piling in at record levels. Anyway, I just want to get this off my chest because that's what really stood out to me: the absolute enormous volumes, and the fact that almost every crypto that has churned enormous volumes over the last 24 hours haven't even gone up. And another warning sign is the fact that it's retail that is doing the buying and non-retail is doing this enormous selling. Yeah, so not investing advice. I'm obviously, I mean, even though I don't short or buy crypto, I'm naturally biased towards it because I don't own it. So yeah, and this is not investing advice. I mean, I have made no money on crypto. I haven't lost anything either. But it's like, so obviously I'm not good at, let's say, riding bubbles in that sense. So I mean, some who might be listening might have made a lot of money in crypto. It's like, good on you. I can't do that. I simply can't buy stuff I know I believe is worthless, and I don't want to be in a greater fool trading sardine situation. I mean, I wouldn't be against just dabbling for fun maybe, but That's not what I think a lot of people are doing. I think, again, people think that they're gonna get rich in these cryptos. Yeah, so anyway, again, I'm biased against it. This is not investing advice. If you know how to, let's say, trade crypto, you should probably keep trading crypto. Emphasis on trading. Thanks for listening. Have a good day. Bye.